Hi, this is Teresa. You know, as a kid, my favorite soda pop was root beer, and I've always wanted to make homemade root beer. So I was very excited when I found an immune boosting root beer on the Mountain Rose Herb website. So I'm going to go ahead and post that recipe below. Making root beer is a 2-day process, and for me, I added an extra day. I wanted to use some burdock and dandelion from my own garden, and I found out you need a lot of fresh burdock and fresh dandelion to make this recipe. So I did end up buying some dried dandelion and burdock as well. So I learned a couple things making my own root beer. The first is this specific recipe makes a lot of root beer syrup, like about a gallon. So we are going to be drinking root beer all winter long, which is wonderful. The second thing is I used honey instead of sugar, and honey is sweeter than sugar, so next time I would even reduce the 6 pounds of honey that I added to maybe more like 4.5 pounds of honey. So I was using the Costco honey the next time I make it, and I will make it again. I'm going to use about 1.5 containers of the Costco Wild Washington honey. And the final thing is, as this syrup will keep in your refrigerator for 5 months. So again, it will be a fun treat to have this winter. So let's go make some root beer. So tonight I'm going to make a root decoction for my root beer. And I'm doing it at night. I'm putting everything in my crock pot and I'm gonna let it simmer all night long. So a decoction is just another word for a strong tea. And so we're gonna add these wonderful medicinal immune boosting roots, and that's how we're gonna make our root beer. The roasting is going to give the root beer the nice dark color and also adds a very rich flavor. 6 ounces of roasted burdock and about 6 ounces of roasted dandelion, and pour that into my crock pot. I'm gonna also add astragalus root, which is another great immune booster. And I'm going to add about 2 ounces of chaga mushroom and 2 ounces of reishi. These are wonderful blood detoxifiers. They use chaga mushrooms for cancer treatment. Powerful immune boosting herbs. So I'm going to add those. And this is an extra thing I'm going to add that wasn't in the recipe. This is ashwagandha root, and I grew this in my yard last year. And this is some root that I had. Ashwagandha is great to relax your body and supports the immune system and supports the adrenals. So ashwagandha. And then I'm going to add some ginger root. So the recipe called for 1 ounce of ginger root. I wanted to use fresh, so that would be a 1-to-3 ratio. So this is 3 ounces of ginger root, which is about 3/4 of a cup. And that's also going to give a wonderful flavor to our root beer. Then I'm going to add some spices. So this is some fennel, and this is star anise. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. This is going to make the root beer just taste amazing. And the last thing I'm going to add is our foaming agent. It's sarsaparilla. And so there are no chemical foaming agents. This is some root, sarsaparilla. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add fresh spring water. So I get my water out by Mount Rainier at a natural spring. And we're going to add 4 liters. I'm going to cook this on high for a little while, and then I will turn it down and simmer it all night long. Root beer is in 3 parts. So last night we made the root decoction, which is the base herbs. That's part 1. Part 2 is the sweetener, and then part 3 is the acid. So with the sweetener, most of the recipes I found were using organic sugar. In 2016, I stopped eating processed sugar and processed flour, and I've been using honey. So I'm going to make my root beer substituting honey. But first, let me show you the roots. So we strain out all of the roots from the decoction, and I use a nut bag, and all the roots are in the nut bag. Squeeze out all of the juice, so I have all of the decoction ready to go in this pot now. About 4 ounces of molasses. So this is a dark sweetener. And so this is 3 pounds of honey. So the third part is to add the acids. So you probably know that commercial sodas are full of a lot of acid, but we're going to use a natural acid. I'm going to use the juice from 3 lemons, and then I'm going to use ascorbic acid, which is also known as vitamin C. So I've already juiced 2 lemons, and I'm going to juice this third one. So the acids will counter the sweetness of the sugars, and they'll also add as a bit of a preservative. I'll add the lemon juice, and this is about 5,000 milligrams of ascorbic acid, so I'll go ahead and add that too. And that vitamin C is very immune boosting, so that's just another component with all of our wonderful roots and mushrooms. So our decoction is all ready to go, and now we have this root beer syrup. Now for the best part, let's try some root beer. We're going to use about half of the syrup, and then the other half we're going to use sparkling water. See how it foams up so nicely from the sarsaparilla? Oh, that looks great. Okay, let's taste it. Very good. And not only does it taste good, it's immune boosting.